Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're talking about episode 4 of Konosuba season 3. I'll be honest and say that my thumbnail and my title for this video was probably pretty explosive, given what actually went down, but it was too cute, I really enjoyed it, and I definitely felt that it was the way I wanted to start talking about things. What am I talking about? Of course, I'm talking about Kazuma and Megumin's date that they go on, and I definitely put the word date in quotes because just like how Kazuma probably felt like, really? This is what you want to do when they actually got there. I'm sure some of you, when you clicked this video, were like, really, Kat? You went there? And oh yeah, I did. But I really did enjoy this aspect of the story in this episode because it really shows that there is a connection going on between the two characters. You don't necessarily need soft candlelight and an expensive meal to spend time together. And what I actually really loved about this situation is that when Megumin asks him to go on a date, she's taking him to do the thing that she loves most. And to me, it's a thing that actually means something to the two of them because it's something they've actually bonded over since the first season of the anime. So I thought it was a really cute touch. I do understand where he's coming from, where he's thinking, really, dude? But from her point of view, and considering how people can be, how many of you have been asked out on a date and ended up being dragged to something where you're totally out of your element? It's an honest, mistake that people can make. And sometimes it is truly a mistake, and then sometimes it can actually be a really interesting and rewarding learning experience. Either way, though, it definitely played on the idea that they do like each other, and that they are making progress while still being able to poke fun at it in the way that we would expect Konosuba to do. The next thing we need to talk about as far as the funniest things in the episode is definitely, I believe his name was Lord Alderp. Who I'm talking about is the blonde mustached noble who they are staying with in this episode. And oh my lord, that man is a disgusting peeping Tom, but he is such a thing in the funniest way possible. I love the fact that he actually has a two-way magic mirror peeping into the bath, not just some little peephole like they had in, say, My Hero Academia, and Mineta getting lumped for that. That was fun, but that's off topic. But also, it's to the point where, he has an armchair ready. He's all ready to just kick back, relax, and be a pervert. And it's really cool that they actually go into the details on this, and we actually see Kazuma kind of hemming and hawing about whether or not he's going to roll with it or boot the guy out, because at one point Kazuma's like, you're leaving and I'm staying. The guy's like, hell no, because then you're going to be the one watching. Hey, at least he catches on to that fact. I also thought that it was rather funny, although definitely not real world appropriate, when he made the joke that sexual harassment is in the job description for a maid. I mean, given how often we see that as a trope in stories, it's time somebody just came out and said it. And I mean, is it a dickhead move? Of course, but I mean, these are not good, solidly good people. These are regular people with all the foibles we would expect of regular people, so of course some of them are going to be disgusting perverts. Of course, both he and Kazuma get what's coming to them because the person they'd both like to watch have a bath comes right on in, catches the mirror, smashes the mirror, and gives them royal hell. And boy, do they deserve it. But I do think it's cool that this anime addresses stuff like that and that it's not afraid to go there. Despite how annoying the noble is, though, I will say this for him. There is a line in a Johnny Cash song that goes, "Visitors and fish smell after 3 days." And given the way that Kazuma and his friends are behaving inside of this guy's house, I totally cannot blame him for wanting to yeet them out into the universe. And the fact that he's actually giving them enough time to try and catch this thief is actually pretty decent of him, given the extent of annoyance that they have. I mean, you have Megumin doing her boom 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 with her explosions. You have Aqua drinking him out of house and home. We have Kazuma, catching him with his room. I mean, whether it's right or wrong, I mean, that's the world he lives in. And then you have poor Darkness, who is the only person who is actually behaving properly. And speaking of the fact that Darkness is behaving properly, I mean, it's really strange because I often give Darkness hell for the role that she plays in the show. As I've said before, I have no qualms with it, but it's usually not my favorite. That said though, we've seen so much of her playing a more straight-laced and controlled character that even I'm starting to miss that aspect of her personality. Because what's happening, in my opinion, is that by having to play the more logical and straight-laced character in the setup, she's actually kind of falling slightly out of step with her friends, and that's truly a shame. We do get a good sequence with her when Kazuma is bound and she's actually like sitting on top of him and telling him to say sorry about stuff, and then Fat Pervert and his guards walk in and it looks like something totally else is going on. So that was good. But it is interesting to see how a shift in personality can alter at least my perception of the character and what I've been thinking. As for getting to the true heart of the episode, the thing that's really moving the plot along, we do find out who the thief is, and the revelation is actually pretty funny. It also cleverly ties back to something that we saw earlier in the season, and it makes something that someone did earlier make a lot of sense. I also thought that it was really cool how Kazuma, while he is trying not to get involved in the situation, because the girls have given him so much hell for getting into trouble, he does actually not reveal the thief to anyone, and he actually makes it so that he isn't going to get rewarded the way he potentially could have, because he didn't catch them and bring them in. It actually gets to the point where he has to report that to Iris, and that could have been really dangerous for him. Fortunately, he doesn't get into any serious trouble outside of being scolded and scorned by people because he didn't succeed. But again, we see that despite all of his other flaws, Kazuma, when somebody he is friends with in any way gets caught into something, he's not afraid to put his ass on the line, and that's a good thing. But with the way the episode ended, it's going to be anyone's guess whether or not Kazuma will continue to be able to stay out of trouble. We see a siren go off and an alert that the Demon King's army is attacking the town, and initially Kazuma is just like, screw y'all, I'm not going anywhere. But he eventually does decide to go out. I wonder whether he'll end up actually going and directly dealing with that situation, or whether the situation with the thief will begin being intertwined with this situation. Maybe they will utilize it as a distraction to go into the castle as the thief has requested. I can't wait to see where this goes, because there are definitely a variety of possibilities. I'd also love to know what you guys thought of this episode. What was your favorite part? What did you find funny? Anyway, feel free to drop a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!